So what the Prime Minister claimed is that people were coming up to him randomly and telling him that business was good. Now, against the backdrop of inflation, energy bills, and interest rates, I find that very hard to believe. I've got friends in business, and doing well, business is good, is not a phrase I hear. To say business is good, it's like a net positive, better than it was, on an upwards curve. I think he was lying. I think he is a liar. I think he was lying yesterday. And I think he was lying today when he claimed that people were coming up to tell him that business was good. But make me wrong.
Every business is going to have slightly different circumstances. But as you can actually see, I've been out and about a lot around the country in the last week or two. I was actually just at the beer festival yesterday, talking to lots of landlords, breweries. Many of them were telling me that actually business is good.
Were they? Really? In fact, the more I think about that phone-in, which I sort of had 1.5 ears on it, the more unimpressed I am by Rishi Sunak. I wasn't expecting to fall in love with the fella, but he's pathetic, isn't he? Rudy Kaiser yelled,
Prime Minister, oh, the irony that you're raising alcohol duty today as you're pulling a pint.
To see him pulling a pint under the guise of saving money just absolutely got my blood boiling. And you're right, to use that L word, he is an absolute liar, no better than his predecessors. Yeah, just awful, just awful. And that's why I heckled.
Some of the bits I don't get. I can see that, OK, you've brought in duty, you've changed the rules a bit, you're pretending it's a benefit of Brexit. I kind of understand why you have to do that. But you're telling publicans that you're doing them a favour, and publicans so far are unanimous in the view that it's nothing of the sort. That's the bit I don't get.
Yeah, no, it's complete smoke and mirrors. And
that's a good phrase.
Yet another diversion tactic. So let's throw a little grenade of potentially good news here. Let the believers believe, and
just don't pay too much attention. So there's an 11p cut on the duty on a pint of draft beer. Is that right? From August.
That's cask ale.
Cask ale.
Such a small percentage of what most pubs do. And that's no disrespect to cask ale producers.
No,
I
of course.
used to make cask ale myself.
Yes.
But it's such a small proportion of what the person on the street is drinking. It's not even newsworthy,
it's bizarre.
Really.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
So I was there at the GBVF yesterday.
Where was it?
I wasn't Rudy.
Where was it?
At Olympia yesterday.
Was it at Olympia?
But I did lead a chant with a lot of publicans sitting down towards Rishi Sunak of, you don't know what you're doing.
You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing.
I didn't see him talking to very many people, other than a couple of staged people. And there wasn't a single person that I met that day that would have gone up to him and said, good job.
Well,
Thanks
you weren't, to be fair, you weren't networking, were you? You were too busy chanting and heckling.
I was busy chanting and heckling and tasting, of course, some rather nice beer.
Let's get this book out of the way. Another week and a half, I reckon. Then I'll come to you for my first post-book delivery celebratory pint, Scott.
Good man. Well, and I will, by then, have worked out how much of these new price increases that I've got given yesterday that I can then be able to pass on to my guest whilst...
And how much you'll have to suck up, and how much you'll have to suck up yourself. Well, Rishi Sunak is all over social media claiming that he's done you a solid. Peter is in Winchmore Hill. Peter, what made you pick up the phone?
Yeah, just listening to Rishi Sunak say that hospitality businesses are doing well. I think the geezer must be absolutely deluded.
What are you talking about? He's the Prime Minister. He's the Prime Minister. He knows more about pubs than you do.
We're working harder than ever for less than ever. Last month, the month before last, we was absolutely busy. Loads of money coming through. We made 150 quid for the whole month. That was our baseline profit. Our electric bills have gone up from 20,000 to over 40,000 pounds. Our gas bills have trebled. We don't get no help. All we seem to do is collect VAT for the government on a quarterly issue. That's all we seem to do.
So even if business is booming, you barely break even?
But I said earlier this year, to survive is to thrive. That's where we're at the minute, just to hang in there and hope that someone gives us some sort of help somewhere down the line, whether it's a VAT cut, whether it's something on beer duty, wine duty, that gets raised yesterday. They're just squeezing us every single day of our life.
They claimed yesterday, as I'm sure you're aware, the claim was that he'd done you a favour yesterday.
He didn't do us a favour. You take it in one hand, give him one hand and take it out the other. He ain't done us no favours whatsoever. Nothing. They don't do us favours. They don't do us anything. They don't help in any way, shape or form.
So you are, I don't want to put words into your mouth, Peter, but you are sceptical about the idea. Sceptical. You are sceptical about fellow publicans queuing up yesterday to tell him that business was booming or that business was good.
I put signs on my pub because sometimes you get like the occasional customer moan about the price of a drink and all that. I put a sign on my pub saying about what's happening in the pub, what's happening with our electric bills, what's happening with our gas bills, that I don't like to pay my staff minimum wage because they're brilliant staff and I need to look after them, just so they can understand why the price of a beer, why the price of every single thing goes up. Chefs now want minimum. If you want head chef minimum, you're looking at 40 grand for a chef. Every single aspect of the pub game is in demise, and this is exactly why pubs are shutting
at a rate of knots. And here it is. Here's the thing he put out yesterday: the Brexit guarantee to back British pubs, protecting pubs at the heart of British communities. Tax paid on pints in the pub now cheaper than the supermarket. Lower prices in shops for UK favourites like Irish cream, premixed gin and tonic and prosecco. New tax relief for small producers to help grow their business. And that's the one that's being fact-checked by Twitter and explain that all of these things could be done while the UK was a member of the EU, and none of it is going to touch the sides of the situation that you find yourself in.
Absolute waffle. The man just talks waffle. End of story.
No,
waffle.
That'll do.
He just such on a different planet.
Go and clean your pipes. Go and clean your pipes.